Good morning, everyone. It's Sunday, October 24th. Boston mayoral candidate Michelle Wu is our guest this morning. Let's go on the record. She has racked up high-profile endorsements, and the latest polls have her far ahead. With early voting now underway, what does the candidate have to say? Michelle Wu is here. It's time to go on the record.
From WCVB Channel 5, the inside word from Washington to Beacon Hill. Today's newsmakers are going on the record.
Welcome to OTR, and this Sunday morning, I'm Ed Harding, along with News Center 5's political reporter Janet Wu. It's great to have you with us. Boston mayoral candidate Michelle Wu is joining us this morning. She is a Democrat. She's currently a member of the Boston City Council, where she has served since 2014, the first Asian American to serve on the council. She is a Roslindale resident. She's a graduate of Harvard University and Harvard Law School. It's great to have you with us. Thanks for being here.
Thanks
here
for
we
having
go.
me.
Here we
First
go.
Asian American woman, by the way. Sam Yoon was the first
Wonderful.
Asian
Great
American.
point. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
But more importantly, Election Day, which is the day that hopefully we will find out, it's not too far away. So your year of campaigning is almost over.
It's been a long time.
So two recent polls now show you have more than 30 points ahead of Annissa Essaibi-George. Do you think your lead is really that big? And do you have any fears that folks are not going to go to the polls because they think this is in the bag for you?
The only polls that matter are the ones that close 8 p.m. on November 2nd. And early voting started yesterday in the city of Boston. People are sending in their ballots by mail already. We feel the energy on the ground. People are ready for a new part of Boston's history, the change that we're proposing, but we have to get everyone to the polls.
But do you think you're 30 points ahead of Essaibi-George?
I don't believe any of the polls. It's always wonderful to see affirmation that our approach of building in the neighborhoods, going door to door, a message of Boston's future, that's connecting. But this is about every single voter all the way through November 2nd.
When she was, I'm sorry, when she was here last week, she said that she thought that she was behind, but she didn't think she was 30 points. Would you argue with her?
Whatever the snapshot of the race right now, what matters is this election is about the future of the city. There's a big choice, a clear choice for Boston, and there's so much at stake, so we need everyone to get out and make your voices heard.
So let's launch from that point. There is a growing movement to ban tents in public places to deal with the homeless problem in the cities, in city, of course, and the cities, of course. So is this something that you would consider for Mass and Cass as part of a bigger and more comprehensive solution? This is, by the way, if you don't know at home, folks, this is video of Mass Avenue and Melnia Cass Boulevard.
I support the steps that Mayor Janey has taken very recently. The city has now officially declared a public health emergency at Mass and Cass, and with the intersection of the opiate crisis, substance use, mental health, homelessness, we need to take immediate action, especially before it gets cold outside. It is not safe. It is not healthy to be outside on the street in a tent. We'll get outreach workers on the street, have accountability to the mayor's office, and make sure people are housed and getting treatment.
Would you go as far as banning them?
You know, we need to make sure that there are alternatives for people. So It's not the first choice of anyone to be living on the street in the cold, in the winter. We need to have those safe, low-threshold shelter beds available for everyone.
Because this is going to be, whoever's elected mayor is going to be mayor relatively quickly, sworn into office. So this winter, it's going to be either your problem or Annissa Essaibi-George's issue.
That's right. November 16th is when the new mayor would take over. And within the very, very first days of my administration, one of the first hires we'll make is a Mass and Cass chief, a cabinet-level position reporting directly to me so that we will have accountability and clear action.
But it doesn't sound like you would ban tents. You would instead try to find housing for everybody. Is that what you're saying?
I support the executive order that's been put forward, which is that we need to be moving people out of unsheltered tents in the street into supportive housing and low-threshold housing. That alternative has to be there, but we cannot let the situation continue on how it's been.
This is an issue that's been going back and forth between you and your opponent for the entire campaign. Last week, she insisted you've used the term defund the police in your calls for shifting resources to deal with violence and crime in the city. Have you ever used the term defund with this particular issue?
That's not the terminology I use. It's not the position that I would describe as the vision we're putting forward. We know Boston residents need to feel safe. As a mom, I'm going to make sure that every single street in our city is safe. We know that people want there to be quick response times in the case of an emergency, but we also have to deliver the services that people need in those moments of crisis. And right now, that's not what is happening in every case. So I'm calling for allocating our resources so that we have mental health clinicians, public health professionals to be in those crisis response situations that would then free up resources so that we are using our policing resources effectively.
So it cuts in the police budget. Is that what you're looking at?
I'm looking at investing more in public safety and public health, but making sure the dollars are going to the right place. We have a ballooning overtime line item that has included areas of unworked hours for overtime, that has included fraud in some cases. So cutting that, getting the cost savings over into the services that people need and deserve is going to be a major priority.
The Boston Globe reported that your opponent's husband owns more than over $50 million worth of properties in the city and has about 200 outstanding code violations. So what's your reaction?
You know, I take my colleague at her word that there's a separation in her household, but it's important for us all to be very clear about the financial interests at stake in our households. In leading the city, we're facing many, many challenges, and the ability to say that we need to put ethics first, we need to lead with clear divisions between personal and professional spaces, that can't be under question.
I'm going to ask you this question, but I think it falls under what you just said, because if you win, then maybe this question becomes less relevant. But should his permits to build new properties be granted?
You know, everyone has the right to seek a living, and candidates, especially women candidates, should be able to stand on their own 2 feet. This is a question of whether there are conflicts of interest, and there are disclosures and clear criteria for how that's decided.
Well, let me ask you more broadly then. If your mayor, would resolving violations for any developer sort of be a contingent for new permits for new construction?
Sorry, resolving.
So in other words, would you have to deal with your violations before you would get more building permits for any contractor, not just any one particular contractor?
Yeah, and this has been a topic on the city council recently as well. Our colleague, Councilor Ricardo Arroyo, just recently filed legislation that would expand the city's ability to cut down on wage theft. For example, if you have past violations, not having paid your employees or having had unsafe working conditions, you shouldn't be allowed to continue doing work in the city, and our city permits should reflect that.
Your agenda is progressive. You support rent control, eliminating MBTA bus fares, and you want to redraft zoning ordinances for the Boston waterfront. All of this requires approval from Beacon Hill, which is far more conservative, and it also has a Republican governor. So how deep are your relationships with the Speaker, with the Senate President, and the governor? Have you talked to them recently, and have you started conversations?
I've had conversations with our elected leaders across the board and want to make sure that the city of Boston is making our needs loud and clear in partnership with state, county, and federal government. So I'm proud to have support from colleagues on all those levels, because now is the moment where we need to take the resources that are available, once in a generation opportunity with recovery funds coming down, and put those to work, make a difference.
So have you started having conversations specifically about things like rent control, the Boston waterfront, T-fares, that type of things?
Yeah.
Right.
I've been advocating on these issues around housing stability and making sure people can stay in their homes, on taking down barriers for transportation access, on climate, for a very, very long time. And so the endorsements that we have, the support that we have, for example, from Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, from Mayor Kim Janey, from leaders in our state legislature, our sheriff, our partners up at the federal level, Senator Ed Markey as well. These are not because of a one-time conversation we've had about policy for this campaign, but because of a track record of years of working together and getting things done.
She's Michelle Wu. She'd like to be mayor of Boston. She'll be back in just a minute, and she will answer